Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here, and here is Wave 11. That's right, I was able to get a hold of them for the purposes of reviewing them, and I'm excited about revealing them to you. We're going to take a look at all three of these. Here they are. Man-at-Arms, Teela, Sorceress Teela, and Trapjaw. This is almost kind of like a reboot because, first of all three of these figures we've gotten before, but these are different versions. And then second of all, it's brand new packaging. Not sure what else will be new. We're going to find out together. Is the articulation any different? What kind of clothes kind of situation do they have, or equipment and accessories? We're going to do, of course, comparisons. But the first thing I want to do, and we're going to have fun in this review, by the way, but the first thing we're going to do is check out the box difference. And today, I'm doing Man-at-Arms first. We're going to be inside of the palace of Eternia and the King's Palace, King Randor's Palace, and we're going to be checking out our favorite Man-at-Arms and techno geek and inventor and mechanic, and all these cool things, and of course also the captain of the guard during the filmation season or time period when we watched the cartoon back in the 80s. He's the one. He was the leader of King Randor's troops, and we're going to check him out. But look at this box. Now, just to give you an idea of the difference, this is Wave 11. This is what we've been getting. Of course, there would have been a figure in there, but we're getting a lot more of the art. Instead of the art being on the back, the art is on the front right there. And so, you know, that's a really cool thing. So they're using a little less plastic, I guess. But then also, the box just looks so cool, and it's still collector friendly. Look, new Eternia. And see, this is the Revelation, the first one we got. Not the one where he was in kind of the tunic and, you know, decked out with all the gear, the deluxe one that was a Target exclusive. This is the one that we first got back in Wave, I believe it was Wave 1. And he is still awesome. Still use him. Got a Hordak MX head sculpt that I use with him, and we'll show that as well with this guy in comparisons. But it's going to be really interesting. Now let's look at the side art here. You see the side art? Now, one of the things about the back, you see that on the old packaging, basically, the Masterverse packaging that we're used to, you got that big artwork on the back, which we've all loved, and we got a big bio, along with the selling points at the bottom, where this time, we get an actual picture of the figure. That's, I guess, a digital render of the figure, or maybe it's the actual figure, I'm not sure. And then a kind of a glimpse of his actual accessories and these three little boxes here. A tiny little write-up that says very little, but if you want to pause and read that now, you can. And then it shows you the other selling points as well. And I will go ahead and tell you, I did not pick up the Skeletor. I'm not saying I will not get him eventually, but he just looks so gimmicky. I've got to see probably the Revolution series on Netflix next year first before I can really appreciate this guy. But I love the look of these three, but not reviewing him yet. Didn't get a hold of him. Didn't want to pay $30 for him right now. Hopefully I can get him maybe for $24 or whatever later on. But these three right here, they're looking great. And then the other part of the box is right here where it kind of just wraps around from the front, the artwork. And then check out the new Masterverse logo. Kind of looks like the one that we got with the 40th anniversary He-Man. The top of that box kind of looks more like that. And then, of course, the bottom where the barcode is. But that's pretty much it. It's kind of like an angle here that says his name, Man-at-Arms. Again, new Eternia. So let's go ahead and break open this new Man-at-Arms box and check out the figure inside. We'll be right back over here inside of the Eternia Palace. Okay, so since this is the first time we're ever opening a Masterverse Wave 11, this new reboot, I'm calling it, of the Masterverse Wave packaging, we'll go ahead and open this box together and just see what a difference it is. This time they're taping on 3 sides, the back and each of the sides here as well. So it pops open there. It still says 30 points of articulation, age 6 and up for these figures. So let's go ahead and open this up here. Well, that's interesting. You have like a little place to grab hold of, it looks like. Let's see what that is. Is that where the accessories are? No. Yeah, it is. It's a little doorway. You just put your finger in and open it up, and then your accessories. Yeah, it's a little compartment for the accessories. So we get a little bag like we've been seeing in some of the other lines. And then you just slide out the figure in that little pouch, and see you still have a very, very collector-friendly packaging that is in still good shape that you could slide right back in there if you really wanted to, including a little pouch for your accessories. And then there is the figure so far. Just look at there. And then let's see, yeah, there's some tabs right here and here like we've been used to, so we'll go ahead and get those off and zoom on in a little closer. All right, let's first of all take a look at our Man-at-Arms, new Eternia Man-at-Arms accessories. We're gonna be doing this review a little bit different, but we're gonna have fun. First off, Man-at-Arms comes with 2 tightly fisted, balled up fisted style hands. They're both vertically hinged. He comes equipped with a left vertically hinged weapon holding hand and a right vertically hinged weapon holding hand, which is holding his traditional mace there. Of course, he has his traditional orange armor, as you can see, on his left arm, as well as his chest, and the little cupping guard underneath his chin there. There's some real cool detail there. We have that kind of that new Eternia style belt that we've been seeing, and then of course on that left shin covering that boot, got different style boots, almost like a real looking style boot, kind of like we got with the deluxe Man-at-Arms, but these are actually different. And so we'll take a look at that. Of course, there's the more leather style loincloth instead of furry loincloth. But just really cool looking Man-at-Arms. We'll take a look at even more details about him in just a moment when we get to the section where we'll be taking a closer look and doing his articulation. But check this out. He comes with a non-mustache style head. And yes, you see it. He does not have the helmet on. So you can remove the helmet. So you get a second head sculpt and a removable helmet. And then a cool gimmick that allows you to exchange the mace part of the top of his weapon so that it looks like a ball pops out of the top of it with a chain. But it's a plastic chain, but it's still a cool little trick. And we'll take a look at that here in just a moment when we take a closer look. But there's his mace. And it's as though that ball part in the top just pops out like a weapon, and so you can exchange that there for that. So that's really cool. And that wraps up his accessories. We are going to take a closer look also at this head sculpt with the mustache and the helmet in just a moment, but we're going to do something a little different. We're going to act out a little scene here with our characters while we're looking at the various aspects of Man-at-Arms. So let's have a little fun. Man-at-Arms. Yes, He-Man. I wanted to come over here and check out your new gear. Looks like you got a new helmet. That's right, He-Man, I did get a new helmet. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Check this out. This helmet with the mustache type head sculpt is also removable. So you're able to remove that helmet, and just take a look at there. You have some green gears, some red highlights here on the side and some accents. It's kind of a marbleized plastic, really a metallic style plastic, and a little bit different style helmet than what we've seen, but it still has that flare. And you can see that he's kind of like wearing, I compare it to kind of like Buzz Lightyear wearing the Snoopy. They call it a Snoopy cap, which is what they wear before they put on their astronaut type helmets. That's kind of what this reminds me of, but there's even a gear, almost like a communicator type deal. Looks like going into there, and then some tracks on the top that kind of coincide with the inside of the helmet. So they snap in place. So that's really cool. And then of course we've got the little cup section underneath. But look at this. You have on this big shoulder pad, you have some swords, some cross swords coming off there. That's new. And there's also some wash to that big shoulder pad. That's really neat. And then we have the thing back here which will hold his weapon. So we'll look at that in just a moment. And that actually looks like it's moving a little bit. So I'm not sure if that's just, it's pegged on. Yeah, it's pegged on, so you can remove that or you can put that on. So that actually would count as one of the accessories. And you can see there's even a painted on gold insignia, kind of a wing type thing on the back. So that's cool. But check this out. He-Man, do you remember when I was holding Teela in the Revelation series on Netflix? Well, I was kind of preoccupied during that whole cutscene, but I do know where you're going with this because you are Teela's father. That's right, He-Man. So they even packed for our man-at-arms here another head sculpt, and guess what? It will fit either head. So you can put on this one like that. When you put it on the mustached head, when you put it on this head, it gives me that Filmation kind of look, in my opinion. You have to make sure it'll pop on there. But check that out. It looks more like a Filmation look now, doesn't it? Isn't that cool? Check that out. To me, it kind of gives that flare. It has the little vents on the side of that helmet, whereas this helmet did not have that. You see? And you have some orange gear works and some light blue markings on the top with the orange going around the side, a little bit different on the back. You can see it's totally different than the other helmet. Very interesting. And the fact that you can put it on either head. So you can put this helmet on either head. So this reminds me, like I was saying to He-Man there, of the Man-at-Arms when he was holding baby Teela, that cutscene. And you could kind of take this armor off too, or even use the deluxe Man-at-Arms with the tunic when he's kind of like younger without the mustache. That kind of gives me that impression there. Maybe they're allowing us to duplicate that image. I can't remember if he had the hair showing in that scene or not, but anyway, you could make it work. So that is cool. So you can put this helmet on that head or on the other head and vice versa. So that is really cool to know. That is just so ingenious. This does add a lot more value to us getting another Man-at-Arms, in my opinion. So just really, really cool stuff. I'm loving it. All right. So Teela's like,
"Hey Dad, I like your new helmets. I think that your new Mace Weapon is cool too. The boots are a nice look on you. And the new trim on your chest armor is neat. Well done on the design of everything. By the way, you look younger without the mustache."
Well, thank you, baby. I appreciate that. I'll have to shave more often. All right, let's go ahead and snap this head on here. He came out of the box with this head sculpt on here with the other helmet on, but I'm gonna leave on this one because I think that one looks a little bit more Filmation, if that makes sense. I like that. That looks really cool. Just really, really neat. Awesome. And instead of this piece being a part that kind of like can snap off and on, it's actually built into that leg. So I was going to show you that too. You see the hinge there? So even though it turns like a boot cut, it's built in. That does not come off. So I love that. So that's not a pop-on piece. Sometimes these pop-on pieces can be a little cumbersome to work with, but you can remove this, I believe, and yes, you can snap off the chest armor as well, and the helmets. So that is cool. Again, you can take off that helmet. You can put this one on this one, like we saw out of the box. A younger man at arms, and then you can put this one on this one. This is the way he came out of the box. So you can see there's, I guess, is an older version of himself there. So that is so cool. So neat. Man, I'm loving the way this guy looks already. He's just a lot of fun. I like that face sculpt pretty good. Okay, let's get a closer look at it right quick here. And there, now you can see that face sculpt really well. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. This one looks good too. And then again, swapping helmets. I'm loving the fact that you can use either helmet for either head. That was just a nice touch, Mattel. Thank you for doing that. That is so cool. And he can hold his helmet, do poses like that. It's just so neat. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get to the rest of his articulation here. Just show you that he's able to look up just slightly. Even, let's take the helmet off. That may get him, that may buy him just a little bit more. And then he's able to look down into his little cup thing all the way. That looks really good. He's going to get a little bit of pivot. Of course, side to side. He's going to get 360 with those arms. He's going to be able to come out to a T-pose. Even with all that gear, it just moves out of the way. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows, which is going to be hindered a little bit by the armor. Let's go ahead and look on this side. Yeah. Gets 90 degrees. Again, on this side, you have a vertical hinge for the right hand, and you have those cuffs like we've been seeing with Masterverse figures. I love the highlighted gold that's painted on, that nice touch. We don't get the new chest. That's still the same buck underneath there. I was kind of wondering if they might, go toward a modified. I think the one that was on the 40th anniversary He-Man may have been a little bit big, actually, in some respects. Or maybe they just didn't paint it well, so that it had kind of a weird look at some angles. But I liked the thickness of that chest, so we didn't get that again here. Didn't know if they would, in the reboot, kind of pack him in with a different style chest, but we got the same buck. Looks like the articulation is fairly the same overall, except they listened to fans and gave us a vertical hinge, so that's cool. All right, he's going to be able to crunch forward about that far. Wow, he bends back a good amount. It actually gives, I feel like they gave us a little extra there. You still have that new, I call it tripod smooth style turn ability at the diaphragm and at the waist. So you're going to be able to go side to side. Get some good side to side action there, which is really cool. And then of course you're going to be able to get full splits. You have thigh cut. You have double jointed knees, which look good there. Remember, we have the boot cut on both sides with this boot here. Love the cuff on that boot. He's going to get full tiptoes, go up a good amount. Excellent rockers with a peg hole on the bottom. So we have our traditional Masterverse style articulation, which is really cool. We'll pop on my favorite helmet here again. Kind of show you how it looks there when he's looking down. There you go, it pops all the way on. So he's going to be able to really get some good poses. He just looks good. He just looks awesome. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this mace, all right? Man-at-Arms, what is it that your mace does now? I mean, we've always seen you with that particular weapon, but I don't ever remember seeing it do anything other than just hit and clobber bad guys. Well, that's right, Orko. My mace now has a unique feature that will really help give me the upper hand. Well, Duncan, please show us. Do demonstrate this new feature. Well, I will, sire. First of all, you just cock the handle. Not really, I'm just pretending. It's just a matter of popping off this part right here. But he's going to pretend that he cocks the handle, and all of a sudden, ba-boom! The ball comes forward, and it's attached at the top. It's attached here as well, and it will have a little play, but it is a plastic, rigid chain, so it does not move around like it would with a real chain. But that is really neat. So it just pops off that handle. You pop this one on, and you have that effect. Isn't that cool? So he can hold that and clobber Beastman or Trapjaw, which looks like they're kind of pitching Man-at-Arms against Trapjaw. We'll see that a little bit later in that review. Check these out as I get them out there, but doing Man-at-Arms first. So if you don't see them on there yet, be patient. Or if you've caught on to this after I've done all of them, then you can watch them in whatever order you'd like. But isn't that awesome? So cool. Ching, pong, pong. That is really neat. You can see how well he articulates and can get in a really cool pose. And there he is training with He-Man using his ball and chain feature of his mace. Isn't that cool? I think it is really neat. Man-at-Arms, bravo, Duncan, bravo. Thank you, sire. I appreciate it. It's a very formidable weapon, Man-at-Arms. Thank you very much, He-Man. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. I think it's just a cool weapon. So there we have all of his gear. So now it is time to do some comparisons. All right, here we have our Revelation Man-at-Arms on the right, and then our new Eternia Man-at-Arms on the left, and you can definitely see some major differences and some similarities. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. There is a tiny bit different shade of green in the new Eternia. It's more of a, I don't know, more of a grass type green or chartreuse green maybe, where it's a little bit brighter green, a little bit deeper green over here with the Revelation. But check out the armor difference. I mean, you know, I like the armor on both. They both have some pros and cons. This one kind of looks a little bit more simplistic, again, kind of like Filmation style almost, whereas this one definitely reminisces your kind of 2000X Mike Young production Man-at-Arms armor, plus, of course, the Revelation series. So you can see a difference in their belt. Of course, you got the loincloth, fuzzy loincloth, removable shin boot armor there, whereas over here you have the non-removable. I really like the boot difference. I like these boots over here. Again, simpler, and I do like the mace. I think over here with the shade of the ball on the top, a little different from the gold on the bottom. You know, we got a little bit of shading here, but not as much. I like both of them, but I think I prefer the new Eternia one. Definitely like the new Eternia head sculpt and removable helmet better here. Look at the difference in the size of the face and the head in general. I mean, we kind of complained in season 1 about the, you know, that helmet and head being a little small on that first series, even the He-Man head. They definitely made up for it here. This head looks a little bit more in scale, I think, than it did on this one. So, wow, just look at there. That is so cool. Give them a turnaround right quick. So here they are from the back, and again you can clip his mace right on here and store it. We'll look at that here in just a second. I also forgot to mention that his hands actually have the bigger peg like the 40th anniversary and some of the other newer waves are having, the bigger peg for the hands. So that's cool to mention. But you can see on the back here that there's the straps where you can remove this one, whereas this one's molded in, so cool. You still have the fur around the edging, kind of like of the armor on both. But here it is brown on the new one, and here it is kind of a gray color. Again, more in line with the look of the Revelation series, and you can see the differences in the helmet there, even on the back here. On this helmet, this one comes with 2 helmets, so you know pick which your favorite is, but looking cool. All right, let's take a look at some more Man-at-Arms comparisons. All right, and here we have our Man-at-Arms New Eternia next to the Deluxe Revelation Man-at-Arms that had kind of like, and I've got 2 of them here. Underneath all the garb, he's got just the tunic style, lower profile style clothes, tattered and kind of rugged looking, and has the belt with the pouch, which I really love. But notice this: I've used the other helmet, and I have it with him, so you can pose whatever Man-at-Arms you would like with a helmet without a head in it now, which is really cool. If you didn't have one customized, I did have Hordak MX make me a empty helmet head, or helmet without a head in it. But this is also his Hordak MX Revelation Man-at-Arms, which I think he just killed it. I mean, look at it. There's Mattel's version with a helmet on, and Hordak MX made a version with the helmet on as well. But it's got the man bun back there, got the kind of the gray going on in the sideburns and the front of the goatee beard part. He just nailed it. The eyes really look good. So I like him on that body style. Of course, you can put him on any of these bodies, but you can see there's a great difference again in the armor here compared to here. A lot of color variations here alike. But I don't know, to me, again, I'm being repetitive, Filmation is what this kind of pops for me a little bit. Now we're going to look at the Super 7 actual Filmation. I mean, it's not identical, but that's kind of, it's a throwback to that for me compared to these others anyway. But there you have it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this Man-at-Arms with some of our classic variants. And this Classics Man-at-Arms literally just hopped off the Sky Sled to roll on in here or fly on in here to take a look with us here. And you can see a pretty cool comparison here. This looks very similar to the design, even though this is smaller and not as detailed or as thick or as bulky. I mean, just look at the fur around there. I mean, that's very high quality. And then the etching in some of the pipe work and the paint. I mean, Classics, that's where they thrived, is in the details. But you can definitely see a similarity here. And especially with the helmet even. Now, this helmet is non-removable, and I just love that Classics head sculpt. I mean, it's hard to beat Classics when it comes to their head sculpts by far. But where Masterverse beats Classics is in pinless tech and articulation. I mean, just take a look at that. That's just a cool pose. I mean, effortless. And that Masterverse figure just looks cool. Whereas these, they just kind of keep that rigid, 90-degree angle straight up and down. There's just not a whole lot you can do with their articulation when you compare it to this. So it's a give and take. You got the detail here in these awesome, almost statuesque, detailed, nice, solid figures. But then you've got the, less, doesn't cost as much as the Classic, especially now in aftermarket. But then you have the awesome articulation and just the neat imagination that we're getting with these new Masterverse figures and new Eternia figures. So there you go. And this is definitely your ultimate Filmation Man-at-Arms here. I mean, that head sculpt there looks like it stepped right out of the cartoon. And of course, the helmet was more of a gray color. So, I mean, you can definitely see the difference, bluish gray. But then you can also kind of see, you know, that it is inspired there. So, yeah, definitely this is the simplicity of the Filmation that Super 7 gave us in the Club Grayskull. Love that. Still my favorite Man-at-Arms just because it does look just like the Filmation. But even more so than what they're trying to attempt with that cartoon origins. But yeah, I don't know. Did we need another Man-at-Arms? I mean, that's debatable. But what they've given us here with the removable helmets and then the lack of mustache face, I like it. It's really cool. All right, now let's do some photos in the photo gallery. And so I'll say au revoir and say thank you for joining us for this Masterverse New Eternia Wave 11 review. Come back and see us. Like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you've not done so. And comment if you have something to say or share. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Be blessed.